Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt older? Not because of wrinkles or the outfit you chose, but because of your hair? Sometimes it is not the color or the style in front that ages us, but a few centimeters at the back of the neck or the crown of the head that we never see yet everyone else does. After 50, our hair changes in ways we often do not expect. It can lose volume, its texture may feel different, and the shine we once had might fade. Many women I meet focus all their attention on styling the front, thinking that is where beauty begins and ends. But I have learned, both as a stylist and as a woman in her 60s, that the smallest details in places we rarely notice can completely transform the way we look and feel. In this video, I will share 6 smart haircut solutions that not only lift and brighten your face, but also make your hair easier to care for every single day. These are practical, timeless ideas that fit any lifestyle, from an elegant night out to a simple coffee date. And there is one tip, tucked somewhere in the middle, that many of my clients say changed the way they feel about themselves more than any expensive product or salon treatment. I think you might be surprised by what it is, so stay with me until the end. Tapered nape, slimming the neckline and lifting the silhouette. Have you ever caught a glimpse of the back of your head in a store mirror or in a candid photo and thought, has it really looked like that all this time? I remember the first time it happened to me. I was 62, walking into my granddaughter's school recital, feeling pretty confident in my outfit and makeup. Later that evening, a friend sent me a photo she had taken from behind. When I saw it, I froze. The hair at my nape looked bulky and shapeless, almost as if it belonged to someone slouching. In that instant, I realized that the back of my haircut was quietly aging me without me even knowing it. The nape of the neck is one of the most overlooked parts of a hairstyle, especially for women over 50. Yet it plays a surprisingly big role in how polished and youthful you appear. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Psychology found that people subconsciously associate clean, lifted lines around the head and neckline with better posture, higher energy, and a younger overall look. When the hair at the nape is left unshaped, it can visually shorten the neck, widen the shoulders, and give the impression of a rounded back. A tapered nape does the exact opposite. By gradually narrowing the hair toward the neckline, it elongates the neck, refines your profile, and adds instant elegance. A proper tapered nape cut is not about going super short. It is about precision and balance. The stylist follows the natural curve of your neck, removing extra bulk while avoiding harsh, severe edges. This creates a subtle slimming effect that naturally draws the eye upward, making your entire silhouette look more lifted. On a practical level, it solves everyday annoyances. No more hair bunching under scarves during winter. No awkward bulges against jacket collars, and no unruly fluff sticking out in humid weather. The best part is how gracefully it grows out, so you never have to deal with that awkward in-between stage where nothing seems to sit right. I once worked with a client named Carol from California. She was 64 and loved wearing silk scarves, but she had stopped using them because her hair puffed up awkwardly at the back, ruining the sleek look she wanted. After giving her a soft, tapered nape, the change was immediate. The very next day, she called to tell me that she wore her favorite scarf to brunch and, for the first time in years, did not have to adjust it once. Her sister even commented that her neck looked longer. It was such a small adjustment, yet it completely changed the way she felt about her style. The numbers back this up. A 2024 survey by the American Association of Retired Persons found that 72% of women over 55 feel more confident when their hair is styled in a way that neatly frames their face and neck. It proves that sometimes the smallest details can have the biggest impact. So let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at the back of your haircut? Did it make you stand a little taller? Or did you wish you could grab a pair of scissors right then and there? Would you be open to letting your stylist focus on shaping your nape at your next appointment? Sometimes you do not need a full makeover to feel refreshed. All it takes is one thoughtful change that subtly transforms your entire look. And if you think this is powerful, just wait until you discover the next little shift that can make you feel like yourself again. Only better. Volumized crown lift. Natural fullness at the crown. If you are over 50, you may have noticed that the crown of your hair, that very top section, does not quite have the bounce it once did. For me, it started in my late 50s. I remember styling my hair for a family wedding, only to find that no matter how much I teased it or sprayed it, the crown would fall flat within an hour. It was frustrating because even though my face looked polished from the front, the side profile told a different story. The volume was gone, and with it, a little of my confidence. Hair naturally loses density as we age. The Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology published a review in 2023 noting that women can lose between 20 and 30% of hair density by age 60, most noticeably around the crown area. This loss not only affects how full our hair looks, but also changes how light reflects off it, making it appear even thinner. A volumized crown lift addresses this problem by adding gentle, natural height at the top, without relying on heavy teasing or stiff products. The beauty of this technique is its subtlety. A skilled stylist will layer the crown in a way that creates lift from the roots while keeping the outer surface smooth. This gives the illusion of thicker hair without creating that telltale helmet look that so many of us dread. And here is the best part. You do not need an arsenal of styling products to keep it in place. Often, a light mousse and a round brush are all it takes. For me, the first time I tried this cut, I was shocked at how much easier my mornings became. A few minutes with the blow dryer and my crown stayed lifted all day. I have seen the same transformation with my clients. Linda from Texas, who is 58, had been avoiding social gatherings because she felt her hair made her look tired. She tried the volumized crown lift before her company's holiday party. She later told me, "People kept asking if I had lost weight or changed my skincare. No one guessed it was just my hair, but I felt like I stood taller all night." That is the kind of quiet confidence this style can bring. Statistics support this too. In a 2024 survey by Modern Salon, 68% of women over 50 reported feeling more vibrant and energized when their hairstyle had visible lift at the crown. It is not about looking younger in a forced way. It is about restoring balance to your overall look so your hair works with you instead of against you. Now think about your own hair. Have you noticed your crown losing its shape or sitting flat against your head? How would you feel if you could get that soft fullness back without spending half an hour in front of the mirror every morning? Would you try a style that works with your natural hair instead of fighting it? Small changes like this can completely shift how you carry yourself and how others see you. And when you combine the right cut with the right detail, the results can be even more transformative than you imagine. In fact, the next idea I want to share builds on this sense of effortless beauty in a way that might surprise you. Soft pixie, short but soft. When many women hear the words pixie cut, they picture something edgy, sharp, and almost boyish. I used to think the same way. In my 50s, the idea of cutting my hair that short felt like giving up on femininity. I worried it would be too severe, too drastic, or too hard to style. But then, I discovered the soft pixie. It completely changed my perspective and, honestly, my morning routine. The difference between a traditional pixie and a soft pixie is all in the details. A traditional pixie often has tight sides, a very short crown, and sharp lines. It can look fantastic on the right person, but it is not always forgiving. A soft pixie, on the other hand, keeps a bit more length on top, allows gentle texture around the ears, and frames the face in a way that feels natural and feminine. Instead of looking like a bold statement, it looks like an effortless choice. For women over 50, this style has an extra advantage. Hair naturally thins with age, and the crown area is often the first place we notice it. A 2023 study in the British Journal of Dermatology found that over 55% of women over 60 experience noticeable thinning, especially at the top of the head. Longer layers can weigh the hair down, making thin areas more obvious. The soft Pixie works with what you have, lifting and shaping the crown so hair looks fuller without trying to hide anything. I remember the first time I tried it myself. I was 61, tired of spending 20 minutes blow-drying hair that still looked flat. My stylist suggested a soft Pixie, and I hesitated for weeks. Finally, I said yes. The next morning, I ran my fingers through my hair, added a touch of lightweight cream, and that was it. No round brush, no sore arms, no endless adjustments. I looked in the mirror and saw my cheekbones again, my eyes more open, and even my earrings seemed to sparkle more. One of my clients, Joan from Florida, had a similar experience. She was 62 and had always worn her hair at least shoulder length. She feared short hair would make her look older. After some convincing, she went for a soft Pixie right before a family reunion. A week later, she called me laughing. "Linda, everyone kept telling me I looked like I had just come back from vacation. My nephew even said I looked younger than my daughter." That kind of feedback does wonders for a woman's confidence. Now I want to ask you, have you ever held back from trying a shorter style because of a bad haircut in the past? What if the right version could make your morning routine easier and your features shine? Can you imagine stepping out the door in 5 minutes, hair perfectly in place, feeling light and confident? Styles like the soft Pixie are not about being trendy for a season. They are about finding a shape that works with your lifestyle, flatters your features, and makes you feel like yourself again. And once you see how a smart cut can completely refresh your look, you might be curious about another subtle change that has just as much impact, if not more. Face framing highlights, brightening the face naturally. One of the simplest ways to refresh your look without a dramatic haircut is to add a few well-placed highlights around your face. I learned this firsthand in my late 50s. I was feeling like my skin looked a little dull, even with my favorite makeup. My hair was its usual medium brown, but it seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. My stylist suggested adding a few lighter pieces just around my face. I was skeptical at first, but the moment I saw the result in the mirror, I could not believe the difference. My skin looked warmer, my eyes seemed brighter, and I did not change a thing about my skincare or makeup. The magic of face framing highlights is that they work like a soft spotlight. Strategically placed lighter strands draw attention to your best features and can even give the illusion of smoother skin. A 2024 survey by Modern Salon found that 64% of women over 50 who tried face framing highlights felt they looked more awake and vibrant, even on days they wore no makeup. This is because lighter tones around the face create contrast, which naturally makes the eyes stand out and the complexion appear more radiant. Choosing the right shade is the key to making this look work for women in the United States with different skin tones. If your skin has warm undertones, shades like honey, caramel, or golden blonde will complement your complexion beautifully. If you have cooler undertones, champagne, ash blonde, or even a soft silver can create a stunning contrast without washing you out. And for those with neutral undertones, you have the flexibility to experiment with both warm and cool shades, as long as they are blended seamlessly into your natural hair color. I remember working with a client named Martha from New York who was 57. She had always been hesitant to color her hair because she worried about the damage. I explained that face framing highlights are much gentler than a full head of color because they only involve a small section of hair. She decided to try just 4 fine highlights on each side. A week later, she called me and said, I went to lunch with my old college friends, and they all asked if I had changed my skincare or lost weight. Not one of them guessed it was just my hair. That is the subtle power of this technique. It is also a low-maintenance option. Because the highlights are blended into the hairline, there is no obvious regrowth line, which means you can go months before needing a touch-up. For busy women, especially those balancing family, work, and social life, this can be a game changer. Now I want to ask you, have you ever noticed how certain colors seem to make your skin glow more than others? What if your hair could do that for you every single day? Would you be willing to try just a few carefully placed strands and see how it transforms your look? Sometimes it is not about a big, bold change. It is about adding a touch of light in the right place so your natural beauty shines through. And once you see what a subtle color shift can do, you might be surprised by another detail that can quietly enhance your style even further. Hidden layers, subtle volume from within. If your hair has been feeling flatter than it used to, especially at the crown, hidden layers might be the quiet solution you never knew you needed. I learned about them in my early 60s when my stylist suggested the technique. At first, I could not imagine how cutting hair that no one could see would make a difference. But the moment I looked in the mirror afterward, I understood. My hair had gentle lift. My face looked more open, and my whole style felt lighter. Hidden layers work by creating shorter pieces underneath the top layer of hair. These inner layers act like invisible scaffolding, supporting the hair above and creating a natural lift without visible choppiness. This means you get volume from the inside while keeping the outer surface smooth and polished. According to a 2020 review in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, women over 60 lose an average of 20 to 30% of hair density, most noticeably at the crown. That is why volume tends to disappear and hair starts to look limp. Hidden layers help restore that fullness without the damage or stiffness that comes from excessive teasing or heavy styling products. One of the biggest advantages is how natural the results look. Because the shorter layers are underneath, they grow out gracefully without awkward flips or uneven edges. You do not have to fight with your hair every morning trying to get it to cooperate. For me, it cut my styling time in half. I went from spending 15 minutes with a round brush to just a quick blow dry and a touch of light spray. The volume was already built in. I once worked with Nancy, a 65-year-old client from Seattle, who had been struggling with fine, thinning hair. She told me she dreaded styling it because it never held volume for more than an hour. After we added hidden layers, she called me a week later to say, "I actually enjoy doing my hair now. I barely touch it in the morning, and it still looks full at dinner time." That kind of change is not just about appearance. It is about confidence and comfort in your own skin. Statistics reflect the same trend. A 2022 American Salon poll found that 71% of women over 50 preferred haircuts that gave them lasting volume without requiring extra styling products. Hidden layers are an ideal choice because they give exactly that result, while keeping the look timeless. Let me ask you, have you been adding more and more mousse, spray, or powder just to keep your hair from falling flat? What if you could get that lift naturally, built right into your haircut? Would it make your mornings easier and your day more carefree? The beauty of hidden layers is that they work quietly in the background, enhancing your style without demanding daily effort. And once you start exploring how structure within your haircut can change your overall look, you might be ready for another subtle adjustment that has its own unique way of transforming your presence. Side-swept bangs, softly framing the face. There is something instantly flattering about side-swept bangs. They have a way of softening the face, drawing attention to the eyes, and balancing features in a way that feels natural. I discovered this in my early 60s after years of avoiding bangs because of one terrible haircut in my 20s. I thought bangs were too high maintenance and would make me look older. One day, my stylist convinced me to try a side-swept version. lighter and more textured than the blunt fringe I remembered. The moment I saw myself in the mirror, I felt like my eyes were sparkling again. Side-swept bangs work by creating an angled line across the forehead, which can camouflage fine lines and small imperfections while guiding attention toward your best features. A 2021 study published in the Aesthetic Surgery Journal found that forehead lines are among the earliest signs people subconsciously associate with fatigue or stress. By partially covering that area with soft, layered bangs, you create a visual filter that smooths the overall appearance without makeup or invasive treatments. Another reason they are so appealing is their versatility. Side-swept bangs blend seamlessly with many hairstyles, from chin-length bobs to shoulder-length lobs and even certain pixie cuts. Because they are feathered, rather than blunt, they grow out gracefully and do not require frequent trimming to stay flattering. For women who prefer low-maintenance styles, this makes them a perfect choice. I remember my client Rebecca from Chicago, who was turning 60. She was preparing for a family photo session and felt that her hair needed something fresh without a dramatic change. We added soft side-swept bangs that brushed just below her brows. A week later, she sent me the photos and said, "I do not know if it is the bangs or the photographer, but I look happier in these pictures than I have in years." Her face looked more open, her smile more relaxed, and there was a certain playfulness in her expression that had been missing before. Statistics support this experience. In a 2022 Modern Salon survey, 61% of women over 50 said that adding soft, angled bangs made them feel more youthful and approachable. This is not about pretending to be younger, but about enhancing the warmth and vibrancy that already exists. Now let me ask you, have you been avoiding bangs because of a bad experience years ago? What if a softer, side-swept version could frame your face beautifully and highlight your eyes? Can you imagine how much more confident you might feel in photographs, at social events, or even just looking in the mirror each morning? Side-swept bangs are proof that small changes can have a big impact. They do not demand a full style overhaul, yet they can instantly refresh your appearance and boost your confidence. And once you start seeing the effect of these subtle details, you might be ready to explore another way to fine-tune your look that is just as effortless but equally transformative. At the end of the day, beauty is not about chasing the newest trends or trying to turn back time. It is about making smart, thoughtful choices that reflect who you are right now. The goal is not to erase the years, but to celebrate the beauty and wisdom they have given you. Your hair is your crown, and it should help you feel radiant every single day. Sometimes, just one small change in your haircut can shift the way you see yourself in the mirror and how you carry yourself in the world. So I want to hear from you. What haircut has ever made you feel the most confident? Was it a bold change or something subtle that only you truly noticed? Share your story in the comments, because it might inspire another woman to take that step for herself. And when you sit in your stylist's chair next time, I encourage you to try one small change. You may be surprised at how much it transforms not only your look, but the way you feel inside.